I get it.
My name is Ray Moon. I was, when I arrived in Saigon, Benoit, I was a second lieutenant. I was a supply officer, quartermaster corps. My first impression of getting off the airplane, we got there around 6:30 in the morning after 20-something hours of airtime. And I remember a couple of things. First of all, the heat on the aisle in the airplane. And the next thing, coming up to the door to go down the stairs, exiting the airplane, and the smell of the country. That stayed with us for about a year. I was there for a little over 12 months. I was assigned up to Da Nang, and I worked for a lieutenant colonel who assigned me further on up to near the demilitarized zone in the city of Hue. I lived actually in Phu Bai, just south of Hue. But my area of responsibility, I was a liaison officer up to the demilitarized zone. The first memorable situation that happened was the Tet Offensive. I happened to be the officer of the day as a second lieutenant, and the first time I was ever shot at was 54 years ago tomorrow, January 31st, 1968, around midnight. And I had an airman working with me at the time, and we were on guard. He was okay. Took some shrapnel, and I got to tell you, the hair on the back of my neck stood straight up. A little disconcerting for a 21-year-old lieutenant. From then on, it just kind of became training. Our training took over. The Battle of Hue ensued, which was some would say, the largest battle of the war. During that period of time, Quezon was getting all overrun. They were surrounded. That's north of where I was. It was quite a time in my life. I had an interpreter. His name was Nguyen Van Hoan, Trung Shi Wan. Trung Shi is sergeant. I was a Tu Wee, that's a lieutenant, and then I got promoted in February to a Tum Wee, which is first lieutenant. Dai Wee being a captain, and so on. I was particularly close to Trung Shi Wan, Nguyen Van Hoan, and at some point his wife was pregnant, and when their little son was born, he asked me to be the son's godfather, and he named the son after me. His name was Moon. I lost track of him over the years, and we have never hooked up since then, my leaving. We were able to correspond for a while, but once Saigon fell and the country fell, there was nothing I could do. It was yes, he was actually born in North Vietnam, and he lived in Hue, just outside of Hue. And again, Phu Bai was about 7 miles south of Hue. I lived with the Macv compound, Team 5, Advisory Team 5, in Phu Bai. Quite likely he was put into a re-education camp once the North Vietnamese took over. And of course, after that, I did lose some people over there that I was with and was under command. I just don't think I could do that. Maybe the biggest help that I've gotten since then is from the VA. About 20 years ago, I hooked up with the VA, and through various counseling, and God bless them, well, let me digress. When I came home, you try to pick your life up where it left off. And I was from Riverside, California, just up the street, and walked into a bar that I used to drink beer in, old beer bar. And this down at the end, nobody ever threw rocks at me or spit at me or anything else like that when I came home. But this fella down the end of the bar did ask me if I'd killed any babies. I didn't know what the hell to say. I'm never going to say that I was in the military ever again. because it was just hurtful. So I shut up for 20 or 30 years. The VA helped me come out of that, and thank God that they did. Also, in the last 20 years, I've been honored to be able to hang around with other Vietnam vets. Bill Mimiaga, Bob Hatcher, a host of people that I've known. Maybe the biggest one is the guys from Run for the Wall, which is a motorcycle event that leaves Ontario, Southern California, and ends up at the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C., the Vietnam Wall. Hanging out with those guys has been one of the highlights of my life. It's enabled me to be able to talk about, couldn't talk about 50-something years ago.
You know they understand. Because you know they understand.
Well, yeah, you don't have to explain. I like to say, a lot of people used to come to me because I was a lieutenant, and they said, why were the tactics of the Hue invasion or battle such and such? And my response was, hey, everybody was responsible for about 3 meters. Other than that, you almost didn't much care because you had to concentrate on those 3 meters, or roughly 3 feet. I had it better than most, not as good as some, and I'm so fortunate that that was able to happen. My experience, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. People have good-mouthed me and bad-mouthed me for serving over there. Lately, it's more good-mouth. It's been a life, it's changed. When you come back from over there, I was 21 when I got there, and I was 43 when I left, mentally. You grow up. Like that, you grow up. I don't know what else to say. God bless America. Tomorrow, January 31st, is the 54th anniversary of the Tet Offensive, the first time I was ever shot at by a 122 rocket. Never forget it. About 10 minutes of midnight. And that stays with you. I told my wife that the other day. But that's okay. I've lived through it and I've accepted. Fearful. Scared the crap out of you. Maybe 5 seconds later. But your training kicks in. But initially, not a clue. Especially the very first time that something like that happens to you. It's okay. You live through it. And that's how you go 21 years old to 43. I did attend church and services over there from time to time. They weren't always available for us. Probably half a dozen times, maybe more. And I had a few Marines, but the first Marine that came up to me that found out non-vet, he came up and he says, you know, we're getting a lot of adulation, we're getting a lot of support when we're coming home from the sandbox, from Afghanistan and from Iraq and what have you. And he says, I just want you to know that we know it's because of you. You paid the price. And that meant a lot. A message to those who have not been there and who do not serve, it's okay. We understand. But don't get ahead because we served.
That's a good message.
God bless you. One of the things that I enjoy saying is, well, we were winning when I left. And it's true, we were. That was November 1968. But it went downhill. Why? Because of politics, not because of what we did or didn't do. So once the political people get involved, it all goes in the dumpster quickly. So we got to keep that out of there. But that's just a personal opinion. It seems to be the truth.
Yeah.
It seems to be the truth.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you, Susan.
Provide this platform for you all.
The honor's mine. The honor's mine. Helps to talk. Helps to talk. Not at all. God bless America. God bless you.